Here at the Daily Rumble, we've been investigating Pam Bondi, and what we have found is absolutely mind-blowing. The amount of corruption, nepotism, and just outright blatant disrespect for the rule of law under Pam Bondi's career, stretching all the way back to 2013, is beyond anything that we have ever seen here. So it all started in 2013 when Pam Bondi was the AG for Florida. Now, while she was the AG, this is when the Trump University scandal had broken out, and there was a multi-state lawsuit against the Trump family and their Trump University for fraud. Now, Pam Bondi at the time was considering joining this multi-state lawsuit against the against the Trump family and the Trump University. Well, lo and behold, she receives a $25,000 donation directly from the Trump Foundation to her campaign. And so 4 days later, she immediately drops any interest in going after the Trump administration, either criminally or civilly, and just basically left the victims there to deal with their losses on their own. And she was then even allowed to issue the fine for the improper donation from the Trump administration, or from the Trump Family Foundation to her campaign, which is a violation of ethics. And so she was basically able to give the fine to the Donald Trump Foundation of just $2,500 for giving her $25,000 in donations. And this would only be the beginning. So in 2014 through 2018, she was lobbied for Ballard 30 clients, including gambling, private prisons, tech, foreign entities, and she dropped cases like Travelocity, and the DOJ lobbied post AG. So after she was out of being the AG, she continued to lobby on behalf of these very shady corporations and characters. Now in 2025, she fired a lawyer who raised questions over due process, and Bondi fired them for sabotaging deportations. Now, this was a very controversial thing because the lawyer was a career lawyer who had very legitimate questions about what was going on in the DOJ over immigration. And again, she just wields absolute authority and doesn't care about the rule of law or procedures, and just fires this attorney for even daring to raise a question mark about this. Now, in March of 2026, ethics rule proposed AG suspend state bar probes on DOJ lawyers for internal review. So basically, as it stands right now, all the attorneys who work at the DOJ are under the purview of, that state bar association. So if they have an ethics violation, the state bar can investigate and can actually strip their lawyer's license from them. Well, what Pam Bondi is now doing is trying to get rid of the bar from having any jurisdiction over lawyers at the DOJ and leaving it to an internal review, which we all know when you don't have checks and balances over a federal government, you end up in a dictatorship, and that's exactly where the DOJ is heading. Now, in 2025, she sold $1 to $5 million of Trump media a day before the tariffs plunge, which was unexplained in her timing. She was asked by Congress about this, and she refused to give details as to why she sold all of that stock just a day before Donald Trump's tariffs would tank it. So again, this isn't evidence of a crime here, but it is raising suspicion that she is doing some shady stuff. And then her assistant attorney general, Blanche, had a cryptocurrency scandal for which she just continues to cover up for. Then obviously there's the Epstein list, which has just been an absolute nightmare for her and the DOJ as a whole and the FBI, where she once said that, the files were sitting on her desk. But then she comes out and says there are no files, and then says it's a Democrat hoax, but then comes up with 3 million files and gives them to Congress and the public, but most of them are redacted. Now she's come out and said, well, wait a minute, there's still like another million files or so, and yeah, we're not going to release those because they're just duplicates, so you don't need to see them. So very shady stuff going on with the Epstein files, for which we know she was heavily involved. Now, there's also the complaints of lots of ethic filings coming from Congress as well as within the DOJ, and it just goes to show Pam Bondi is probably the worst attorney general the United States has ever seen. The DOJ is supposed to be an independent body. Yes, they serve at the behest of the executive, but they're supposed to be independent and be a check and a balance on the executive itself and be able to investigate those in power, whether they be corporations, whether they be Congress, whether it be the president or his surrounding circle. This is the trusted institution of the United States to make sure that the United States citizens are not being robbed of their liberty and their freedom by a dictatorial government. And that's what the DOJ's purpose is for. It's not just to go after the little guys, it's also to make sure that they hold the big fish accountable as well. And she's just not doing that. Now, we did a full in-depth breakdown over on our Substack. Link is in the description of this video. Please go and click on that. Go read it. You can read it for free. We are 100% crowd-funded. So your paid subscription, which is only $5 a month, to the Substack goes to being able to keep us afloat here at the Daily Rumble so that we can continue to investigate 24/7 these types of stories. So please go read the article for free. And if you like what you read, please consider becoming a paid subscriber today. Until next time, stay safe, stay free.